Greetings once again from our house. We are Joel and
Teresa, and together with our friend Lily, we call ourselves
This, That,
and the Other Thing. Since we can't all be together again in person, we have prepared a short video to celebrate spring, specifically baseball season.
Teresa. Actually, baseball season has been suspended this year.
Well, all the more reason to celebrate it any way we can. We'll be sharing some songs, jokes, memories, and a poem. First, a few related jokes. Why are some umpires fat?
I don't know, Teresa. Why are some umpires fat?
They always clean their plate.
What did the baseball glove say to the ball?
What did the glove say to the ball?
Catch you later.
Do you know baseball is the first sport in the Bible?
No, I didn't.
Sure, in Genesis it says, in the beginning.
Well, besides presenting some baseball-related songs and jokes, we'll try to recreate the feeling of being at a game. So, imagine you're smelling some fresh popcorn, eating a hot dog with everything on it, or maybe somebody has accidentally spilled their beer down your back. Whatever, there's a runner on base, and when the next batter comes up, the organist is sure to play Charge!
One song that is often heard at the ballpark is Center Field, written and recorded by John Fogerty in 1985. It starts with a clapping rhythm heard at ball games and mentions some famous players, including Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, and Ty Cobb. The Minnesota Twins used to use it for Kirby Puckett, who played center field. In an interview, Fogerty said that he always pictured Jackie Robinson as the brown-eyed, handsome man who was rounding third, headed for home in the song. And Robinson, of course, was the first African-American man to play in Major League Baseball. In the modern era, he broke the baseball color barrier on April 15, 1947. He's also the first person in any sport to have his uniform number, 42, retired across all the Major League teams. Major League Baseball also adopted a new tradition, Jackie Robinson Day, where every player on every team wears number 42 on April 15th. So here is Center Field by John Fogerty. Clapping first.
Beat the drum and hold the phone. The sun came out today. We're born again. There's new grass on the field. Around in third and headed for home. It's a brown-eyed, handsome man. Anyone can understand the way I feel. So put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be center field. Well, I spent some time in the Mudville 9, watching it from the bench. You know, I took some lumps when the mighty K struck out. So say, hey, Willie, tell the Cobb and Joe DiMaggio, don't say it ain't so, you know, the time is now. So put me in, coach, I'm ready to play today. Put me in, coach, I'm ready to play today. Look at me, I can be center field. Got a beat-up glove and a homemade bat and a brand new pair of shoes. You know, I think it's time to give this game a ride. Just to hit the ball and touch 'em all. A moment in the sun, it's gone and you can tell that one goodbye. So put me in, coach, I'm ready to play today. Put me in, coach, I'm ready to play today. Look at me, I can be center field. Thank you. I'm sure sure most of you have heard the old poem, Casey at the Bat, which was referred to in the song about when the mighty Case struck out. It was first published in the San Francisco Examiner on June 3rd, 1888, more than 130 years ago. Almost everyone remembers the final line about, "But there is no joy in Mudville." But how many people remember the whole poem? Well, you're about to hear it. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning left to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could but get a whack at that, we'd put up even money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake. The former was a hoodoo, while the later was a cake. So upon that stricken multitude, grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey getting to the bat. But Flynn let drive a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and men saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second and Flynn a huggin' third. Then from 5,000 throats and more there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell, it pounded on the mountain and recoiled upon the flat, for Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing, and a smile lit Casey's face. And when responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat. No stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. Then while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance flashed in Casey's eye, a sneer curled Casey's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watchin' it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike one," the umpire said. From the benches, black with people, there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on a stern and distant shore. "Kill him! Kill the umpire!" shouted someone in the stand, and it's likely they'd have killed him had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the dun sphere flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "Strike two!" "Fraud!" cried the maddened thousands. An echo answered, "Fraud!" But one scornful look from Casey, and the audience was awed. They saw his face grow stern and cold. They saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer had fled from Casey's lip. The teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go, and now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light, and somewhere men are laughing, and little children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out.
I had to get out of Joel's way for that one so he could chew the scenery, as they say in the theater world. Well, that reminds me of a song titled The Greatest. This is a song written by Don Schultz and recorded by country music artist Kenny Rogers in 1999.
Little boy in a baseball hat stands in the field with his ball and bat. Says, I am the greatest player of them all. Puts his bat on his shoulder and he tosses up the ball. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Now the little boy doesn't say a word. Picks up his ball, he is undeterred. Says, I am the greatest there has ever been. And he grits his teeth and he tries it again. The ball goes up, the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Makes no excuses, he shows no fear. He just closes his eyes and listens to the cheers. Little boy, he adjusts his hat, picks up his ball, stares at his bat, says, I am the greatest, the game is on the line, and he gives his all one last time. And the ball goes up like the moon so bright, swings his bat with all his might. The world so still as still can be, and the baseball falls, and that's strike three. Now it's supper time, and his mama calls. Little boy starts home with his bat and ball. Says, I am the greatest, that is a fact. But even I didn't know I could pitch like that. Says, I am the greatest, that is understood. But even I didn't know I could pitch that good.
Wow, must be nice to have so much self-esteem, huh? That reminds me of a rookie pitcher who was struggling at the mound, so the catcher went out to have a talk with him. I figured out your problem, he told the pitcher. You always lose control at the same point in every game. When is that? The pitcher asked. The catcher replied, right after the national anthem.
And everybody remembers the legendary Yogi Berra, known for being a great catcher and the manager for the Yankees, but even better remembered for some of the turns of phrase that he added to the American language. Berra had many turns that were memorable because most of them didn't quite make any sense. However, each one had some truth to them. These became known as Berra-isms. And even if he didn't actually say them all, as he put it himself, I never said most of the things I said. Here are a few examples. When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
You can observe a lot by just watching.
It ain't over till it's over.
It's like deja vu all over again.
No one goes there nowadays. It's too crowded.
Baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical.
A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore.
And always go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't come to yours.
We'd like to close now with a couple personal stories and then a sing-along of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
My memory was when I went to the final game of the World Series in 1987 with my brother-in-law. We were obviously very excited when the Twins won the 7th game and clinched the series over the St. Louis Cardinals. There were a lot of Cardinal fans there, and they were all dressed in red. We started getting a little worried about our safety as we were streaming out of the stadium with all these dejected fans heading toward their buses for the long ride back to St. Louis. Suddenly, one of the Cardinal fans broke away from her group and started toward us. And I seriously thought she was going to spit on us or something. But instead, she held out her hand and said, "Congratulations, the best team won." Now that was a good sport.
My story is more silly. When I was about 4, my mother took me to a ladies' luncheon at our Lutheran church. Someone asked if any of the children had a song they'd like to share, and I eagerly waved my hand. My mother was proud, probably picture me singing Jesus Loves Me. But her pride turned maybe to embarrassment when I stood on a chair and belted out, "From the land of sky blue waters, waters, from the land of sky blue waters, comes the beer refreshing hams, the beer refreshing hams." Of course, that was the beer advertisement with the dancing bear that played during every Twins game on TV as well as on radio when we were growing up.
Well, one more riddle. What has 18 legs and catches flies?
I don't know, Teresa. What has 18 legs and catches flies?
A baseball team.
Well, wait. Why does a pitcher raise one leg when he pitches?
I don't know.
If he raised both legs, he'd fall down.
Oh. We'll finish up with Take Me Out to the Ball Game, something that's played during the 7th inning stretch usually. And can anyone figure out why we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game when we're already there? So please sing along with us. We're going to sing it twice since it's short. Take
Me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Thank you.
I'll just leave you with this. You are locked inside a car with nothing but a baseball bat. How do you get out?
Well, the bat, you can just go pow and get through the window.
Huh. I just unlocked the door.